Hello and welcome to another What Sold video. Today we'll just go over some things that have sold for me between Poshmark and eBay, maybe some other platforms. I'm not sure, just depends on what comes up when we're looking at the list. As always, I like to tell you first that if you're just going to do math based off of what I'm telling you, the math is not going to math. That's because I'm only telling you some things, not all things. And so what I will tell you is what the item sold for, what I paid for it, and fees that were paid for the item. And the last thing I would tell you is the profit before paying taxes. So that's just the general guideline of how I show you what sells and how much it makes in these videos. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what we have. And if I remember, I'll also tell you how long it took to sell. And something else you need to know is that Prime Lister is sponsoring this video. Thank you so much, Prime Lister, for working with me. It's a known fact on this channel that I am a huge fan of Prime Lister to do all my Poshmark software needs. So I use Prime Lister to take care of my sharing, my sending out offers, cross-listing, all of it. If you've been in the market for a new software to do everything for you on Poshmark, Prime Lister really is a great option. It is a cloud-based service, which is really great because a lot of these other services, you have to keep the computer up and running in order for the software to work, and you have to check on it to make sure that it didn't stop, all of those sorts of things. I can tell you, for as long as I've used Prime Lister, which has been, I don't know, 6-ish months now, I'm not sure, maybe longer, somewhere around that, that I've never had to worry about it stopping. It has not stopped on me once, and it's now not even a second thought for me. I used to be paranoid checking it all the time thanks to my conditioning of my old software where I had to check it regularly. No, I know that Prime Lister is doing its job and it's always running and operating properly like it should. So I'm a huge fan of it. It has improved my business both in how much money I make on Poshmark as well as just peace of mind being a busy mom who runs a reselling business. So if you want to check it out, I'll have it linked down below. As always, the first 2 weeks are 100% free trial, no strings attached. You don't even have to add your credit card information or anything. You just set it up. It's really simple. And then once you're ready to go ahead and purchase it, you can use my link and that will give you 30% off of your very first month. But yes, Prime Lister is awesome. It's been amazing for my business and I'm sure it will be for you. So go ahead and check out that link below. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to start with this J. Crew Women's Majorette cropped wool blend military jacket, size 14. And I used some other keywords I saw that were selling for similar jackets by this brand, and that would be using band, biker, as some other like aesthetic looks. So this did take 306 days to sell on eBay for $36.31. I paid $3 for it, so that's a great turnaround for me. The fee for selling this on eBay was $6.27, and I did have a promotional fee for $2.38. So this gave me a profit of $29.30 on this really, really cool jacket. I picked up a few of these and they are slower sellers like this where it takes about this amount of time, but they do sell for decent money, usually, yeah, the 30 to 50 range probably for a lot of these general jackets, the ones that kind of have that military vibe to them. Next is actually a Depop sale. Like I said, I do sell on some other platforms, but they're not as big, so when they come up, they just come up, and this is one of them. So yes, this is a Silence and Noise cropped sweater. And it's very much a style-based sale, 100%. Size small with these beautiful long sleeves, obviously cropped quite small. It goes into the fairy core whimsigoth aesthetics, which is very big right now. And it is an eyelash knit, which is another thing that people look for. So I had a lot going for it, so I did pick this up. I believe it was a bins pickup, which is great. It sold on Depop in 35 days for an offer of $25. I originally paid $2.16 for it, so once again, another great turnaround. And the fee was only $1.53, so I made $21.31 on this really cool top. So yeah, if you see anything like this with those kind of bell sleeves and fitting into that fairy core look, I would definitely consider picking it up for a style-based pickup. Next is another JJ's House dress. Now, I think it was the last video or the video before I shared that this sold. I had two of them. One was a size 16, one was a size 18. The size 16 sold first, and then the size 18 sold next. This sold on eBay after 229 days for $45. Since it is a, you know, more formal-ish dress, I figured it would take longer to sell because I needed someone who needed it for an event or something like that. But it sold for $45. I paid $10 for it originally. The fees were $7.59 and it was on promotion, so it sold with a promotional fee of $2.91. So I made a profit of $28.57 on that dress. So JJ's House can have some really nice pieces to pick up. They just take longer to sell because they're usually like dresses for formal situations, for events, weddings, things like that. So next is one that I think I had it listed wrong at first and I finally figured it out and fixed it. I was like, I think this is a shrunken sweater, but it ends up it was actually a kid's item. I don't know why my brain didn't figure that out. So I went back and fixed that listing and then it did sell. Because I had it listed wrong as like a shrunken sweater for an adult, it sold on eBay in 295 days, but once I fixed it, it took way less time to sell to the proper person looking for it. But I did sell this sweater. Oh, first, what is it? It's the Arctic Circle Norway wool jumper in a size 12. It was like a Fair Isle style with made of wool, and it was for boys and not for an adult. So once I fixed that, I sold it for $31.43. I originally paid $4.99 for it, and the fees were $6.03. So I made $24.98 on that sale. So decent turnaround after fixing that. Okay, this next one, I knew that between it being cashmere and a 3X that it would sell pretty quick, and it did. This is a Sutton Studio cashmere sweater in a size 3X. It was kind of cable knit, orange turtleneck, very plain, usual piece. It sold in 8 days on eBay. So, you know, I was correct in thinking it would sell fast. It did sell for $30. I originally paid $5.29 for it. The fees were $5.56, so I made a profit of $23.11 on that sweater. So yes, as you know, cashmere and plus size, it's going to sell itself. Or as you probably know, I should say. Okay, next was a fun one, and this was a Grace and Karma cardigan, size extra large. And it was boho Aztec-y, I said. Aztec really is a specific style, but it seems like whether it is that style or not, as long as it has these type of prints, you can use that keyword and it will still sell. Same with the word Southwestern. And it was also very like chunky knit. So those are all things that had going for it. So it actually sold on Poshmark in 22 days as a style piece because this brand is a nothing brand. But yeah, so it took just 22 days to sell for $25. Cost of goods was $5.29 and Poshmark's fee was $5. So I made a profit of $14.71 for a quick turnaround on a item that was just a style piece. Next is a Vince cardigan. Vince can be a slower seller, but also I feel like I posted it a little late in the game last year. So it did sell instead this season on Poshmark after 259 days of listing. And I sold it for $30 when I originally paid $4.99. So this was a wool sweater, which is why I picked it up. Vince is a great brand, but it's kind of a hit or miss on how fast it's going to sell. And yeah, with putting it up at the wrong point in the year, I think at that point nobody was really looking for sweaters when I finally got it up. So here we are, you know, this year. It was a size small too, that matters, but it was a chunky wool sweater. And it was kind of shapeless and big, so I did use Log and Look. Basics is also another word I used. Yeah, the fee for that was $6, so I made a profit of $19.01 on that sweater. Okay, next was an Only Necessities dress in a size 6X, which is a 42-44 in this brand. And the word caftan was used repeatedly on the solds. The solds were in a nice range for what it is, so I went ahead and just filled in the rest of the keywords with things that just described it, with it being pleated with like the floral-y look. We went with cottagecore. I could have also used bloomcore probably, but it sold on eBay in 32 days for $35.20, which is in the range for what they were selling for. It could have sold up to probably like 40-ish, so $35.20 is a great turnaround. I paid $5.24 for it. The fees were $6.48 and it did have a promotional fee of $2.46. So I made a profit of $23.86. Next was a bins item. So I let it go for the low end of the range. And it was a By Anthropologie midi dress that was leopard print, size medium, and it was slit on the sides. Really cool piece. These could have probably sold anywhere from 25 to maybe 35-ish. And on eBay after 43 days, I did get an offer of $25. So I just took it because my cost was so low to buy this, because I only paid $2.16 at the bin. The fees were only $4.96 as well, bringing me to a profit of $20.89. So yeah, just a style pickup for that one. Here we go again with another basic cashmere piece. This is a cashmere Charter Club luxury sweater. Charter Club does seem to be one that sells year after year in the cashmere department during the cold season. This was a size large, purple. All the keywords are the very basic keywords. It's specifically the people are looking for cashmere this time of year. So it did sell on Poshmark in 20 days, which is a great turnaround for such a simple basic piece. They paid $27 for it. I only paid 98 cents at the bin, so you know, can't beat that. The fees were $5.40, so I made a profit of $20.62 on that. Next is another one that is kind of a style pickup. Yeah, I'd say it was a style pickup, basically because there's a very like teacher core chambray dress type thing that has always been cool, I think since the 90s, even the 80s, and it's still a trend now. So this was a Talbot's dress, size 14, chambray blue, teacher or teacher core you could write, bell sleeve. I put classic and retro since it's like a thing that's always been cool, and I sold on eBay in 23 days for $24.30, and I had only paid 98 cents for it, so once again you can't beat that. And the fees were $4.66 with a promotional fee of $1.72, so I made a profit of $20.70 on that. Yeah, teacher core is one that just continues to sell itself for a style. Next is one that is no surprise because it was a Donald Trump tie. In fact, I realized I spelled Donald without the L on accident, and it still sold for a pretty fast turnaround. Sold on eBay in 3 days for $27. These ties are just really popular. I don't know. I'm not a big tie person, obviously. I don't wear them myself, and I don't know much about them, but I do know that just Donald Trump ones sell. So yeah, eBay in 3 days for $27. I put that I paid 50 cents before it, but really I didn't count it because it was a bins pickup and it weighs like nothing. So I didn't even count it technically in the stuff that I was putting prices to. I just kind of had it as a freebie, but I went ahead and wrote down 50 cents for it. But the fee was $4.87. So I made a profit of $23.71 on that tie, which is a great turnaround. All right, so that's what I have to share with you guys today for what sold and how much. It was a lot of bread and butter, but to be honest, my story is mostly bread and butter. That's what I find in my area. Yeah, if you want to check out any more videos, go ahead and click over here. I'll see you over in that video and have a great day.